The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment. You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the Stat Boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D-18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show.
Hello, my internet fans. Welcome to 2024. Welcome to Stat Boy Sports Bar featuring Dory Lou and the rest of the newly created, possibly, whatever we're going to call them. We'll call them the Stat Squad. I've been thinking of that one for a while. They're my team of members where we have this pleasant conversation. They pop in every week whenever they can. And, of course, we do exactly what is stated in the intro. We know our game, and we know what we want to talk about. We're on an extra hour early. This is a permanent time spot because we want to get you ready for NXT New Year's Evil. I believe the main event this is Trick Williams versus Dragunov, I believe, for the NXT Championship. It's going to be a barn burner. I'll tell you that one right now. So stick around. Then immediately following us, enjoy New Year's Evil. What a good way to kick off 2024. Sports, football, wrestling. And remember, if you want to dictate the conversation, if you want something for us to talk about, please, by all means, super chat. It's as simple as that. We immediately stop what we're doing, acknowledge you, and answer your question. Coming back into the lineup, because it is now golf and tennis season, we have golf. However, one particular golfer, John Rahm of Spain, will not be returning to the PGA Tour. Hello, Renegade. Welcome. Happy 2024, brother. Love you. Great time. Apparently, and the statement here was sent by a memo from the PGA that states, and I'll as you recall, last year we communicated our commitment to ensure that suspended members do not negatively impact other player tournament eligibility in the playoffs and signature events. Consequently, the policy board established a new ranking called the FedEx Cup Playoffs and Eligibility points list that removes players who are under suspension for their participation in an unauthorized tournament or their association with a series of unauthorized tournaments from the FedEx Cup's point list. In accordance with this, the PGA Tour tournament regulations, Jan Rahm, or John Rahm, has been notified that he is suspended and no longer eligible to participate in PGA Tour tournament play due to his association with a series of unauthorized tournaments. These tournaments are in question are coming from a group that is Saudi-based. It's called LIV Golf. I still need a little bit more info on them, but I believe, and I should get all my homework done. I do apologize. I believe it's all about money. I believe they are offering insane bonuses to sign golfers from the PGA Tour into this new potential rival. Well, the PGA has said, if you're signed with us and then you're going to go and fraternize or do business with them, this is the result. Rahm is a 7-time winner over his career. His career was from 2015 to 2022. His first major win was in 2017. He amassed $35 million in winnings. He got into the top 10 up 63 times, top 25 over 89 times out of the 131. But the PGA has said, sorry, sir, you are no longer part of us. So that is one player that is not going to be part of the 2024 tour. The tour is going to start up this weekend with the Sentry in Hawaii. This is the list. Don't have to go over all of them, but it's a semi-smaller schedule. Usually it would go all the way through the year, but the PGA Tour has decided to make the calendar the focus of the season. So the season starts this week and ends, of course, with the Tour Championship in September. What they do, of course, is you play and you earn points, and the top 50 players, the whole tournament, the whole tour has a 3-match tournament, which is the FedEx St. Jude Championship, the BMW Championship, and finally the Tour Championship. It goes from, I believe, to 125 down to 70 and then down to the top 30. Of course, that could be wrong if my numbers are mixed up, but that's okay. Of course, everyone knows the 2 major rules of golf: play the ball where it lies, and the player with the lowest score wins. And of course, prize money left and right. The ladies do not play for at least another 2 weeks. They start their tournaments on March 18th. And I believe in the next couple of weeks, we will put up the same tour schedule. Pretty sad about John Rahm, though. I mean, rival organizations, more money. Who knows where that's going to go? Any thought before we move on? Yes, sir, Zach. Zach, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I am.
There you go. Go ahead.
My biggest issue is, aren't they the same company now?
No, I don't believe they are.
I thought, didn't they merge months ago?
I don't even think they did. I don't. If they did, why would the PGA?
That's what my point is. I could have swore they merged. And if they merged, why the hell are they suspended John Rahm when it's the same company now?
Same sport, yes, I'll agree with that. Golf is golf, no matter what. I mean, same concept: hit the ball, get it in the hole, do it fewer than your opponents. It's just more money. It all comes down to money. It's the money.
I thought they merged though.
Well, I can look into it more, and we can maybe continue it next week. But right now, I have not seen anything about a merge between LIV and PGA. Anyway, let's move. Golf may not. Oh, come on. That's not what I meant. That one is never going to let me go, man. Steak is steak and cheese is cheese. Steak comes from a cow, cheese comes from a cow, and all that good stuff. All right, the ATP is also playing. Now, there are tons of more tournaments for the ATP, but I was not going to go over all of those. What you're seeing on the screen is the points distribution for tournaments going from the Grand Slam all the way down to the ATP 250. Now, all these tournaments will be taking place throughout the year. The Grand Slams, of course, Wimbledon, US Open, French Open, and Australian Open, those are worth the most points. Those are the biggest tournaments. The other tournaments may be smaller in size, they might be worth less, and they might be lesser known players. The bigger players, your Djokovic's, your Tsitsipas's, all those guys, I believe, they'll definitely be in the Grand Slams. I think somewhere in the Masters 1000, that's where they go, and then lower and lower and lower. So win the tournament, get the points. It all equals the same thing. And like always, like we did last season, we'll report on who's winning what and who has the most points throughout the season. And then it all ends up at the end with the Tour Championship, followed by the Next Gen Championship later on in the year. All righty. And then, Dory Lou, what's going on in WTA?
You don't check your messages, do you?
I didn't check the messages? Oh, okay, no problem. That's my mistake. I apologize. It's okay. Same situation with the WTA. They have a lesser amount of tournaments, but it's the same scenario. Grand Slam again, all the way down to the WTA 250 and 500 levels. And same scenario, Iga Swiatek was the last winner from last season, so of course she'll be playing in the Grand Slams and all that, along with Coco Gauff, Maria Sakkari, all those players. What's going on now is the United Cup. That's the first major tournament. It's mixed doubles. The men and the women team up. I believe it's by country, and winner gets the points, and then we move on from there.
Go Coco.
Yes. Go Coco, indeed. The ladies are on the ice. The newly created Women's Hockey League is started, and there is tennis legend Billie Jean King with the opening, not the official opening face-off, but the pregame face-off. There are six teams, of course. But unfortunately, though, the season is so brand new that the teams do not have official team names, like the Kings, the Predators, the Blackhawks, and all that. They are all by where they play. So in the opening game, New York played against. Yes.
I need you to read the private messages, like Dory said. She does have the information for the Professional Women's Hockey League.
Oh, well, then by all means, please go ahead. I'm sorry, my bad.
There's a reason. There's a private chat for everybody, so we don't have to do this.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dory.
Love you.
I missed a couple weeks because of work fiascos, and look what happens. I see. He's just trying to take back over completely.
I am not.
All right. So this is the new Professional Women's Hockey League, and their first game was yesterday. New York visited Toronto for their first regular season matchup. As you can see there, New York won 4-0. Let's see. This is, just so we know, just a little bit of information here. It was this past summer that the Premier Hockey Federation was dissolved after 8 seasons, and the PWHL is the third time a women's hockey league has been launched in North America since 2007. It's a first-of-its-kind women's hockey league, according to the website, and aims to bring together the best players in the world. That's all the changes and why there was changes. And let me see if I have what's coming up next. Give me just a second. They have 6 franchises. There's actually 3 in the U.S. and 3 in Canada. The American franchises are Boston, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and New York, which could include Connecticut and New Jersey. The Canadian franchises are Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa in Ontario. The schedule is still slowly being worked. And I just lost my note. I'm sorry. But we'll be following this each week as it progresses. And yay, women's hockey. Although, didn't we just learn something here in women's hockey?
Yes, we did. I downloaded the rule book. And of course, more fans go to hockey for the fights. However, it states in the rule book for the PWHL that fighting is not part of the game. It is literally in there. And apparently, there is a difference within the penalties, whereas in the NHL, it's 5 for fighting, given. In the PWHL, it's 5 for fighting and a misconduct. You get both penalties. Now, the NHL, which we'll talk about later, the NHL, it can lead to a game misconduct penalty depending on, if the refs come in and break it up and you're done, you're done. Go to the box, 5 for fighting. If they continue to fight, if they continue to be disrespectful, if they just keep on swinging, then it's going to progress more and more. But with the ladies, because ladies aren't supposed to fight, apparently, according to what the PWHL says, that's not cool. I don't like that. It should be across the board the same. There are rules that are the same. Overtime is the same, 3-on-3, all that good stuff. All the penalties in hockey are there. Just this one seems a little bit. It's the oddball rule. I mean, I'm not too happy with that one. But are the ladies really going to drop the gloves and start going?
Oh yeah. Oh
Really?
Yeah. I gotta agree with you, Mikey. I mean, Dory shouldn't get penalized when she checks the end of a wall.
You think I'm going to put her in the penalty box? Yeah, right. You're out of your mind, Mansfield.
Smart boy.
We had this discussion earlier. I'm the Gibbs in this household.
We know.
All right.
You do need a penalty box, though.
Oh, there is one. I'm in it constantly.
Oh, yeah. So coming up this week, the games that are going to be played before we come back to you, it's going to be Wednesday will be Minnesota at Boston. Friday is Toronto at New York. Saturday is Montreal at Minnesota. And then Monday will be Ottawa at Boston. So we'll have those game recaps for you when we come back to the Sports Bar Tuesday next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
And power rankings, of course. All righty. Let's go into the power rankings and take a look and see where everybody stands. We have a new number one team again. The number one teams have been jumping around lately, and it is the New York, hey Datilla, Power Rangers. I used to call them that all the time. I would say they were the New York Power Rangers. It sounds more like fun, especially when they go on the power play. Wink, wink, New York. Get the licensing for that. Every time the Rangers go on the power play the guitar riff or something. Boston is behind them at 50 points. Rangers have 51. Boston moved up 4 spots to the number 2 position. Vancouver, last week's number 1 team, has dropped 2. They're in a 3-way tie with the Avalanche and the Knights. Avalanche have stayed put for 2 weeks. Knights dropped 3. The Stars and the Jets are tied at 48 points and at records at 22-9-4. So we go to the goal differential. The Stars are at 128 goals and the Jets are at 117 goals. The Jets have stayed put for 3 weeks. Florida rounds out column 1 at 46 points. LA Kings start off column 2 at 45. Hurricanes at 44. Flyers at 43. They haven't moved for 3 weeks. Carolina jumped up 6 spots from the bottom of column 2 to the top of column 2. Almost. They're right behind the Kings by a point. Islanders at 43 points. Smashville, Nashville Predators at 41. They are climbing back up. I want to see them. I'm going to give them 2 weeks. If they're not in column 1 by 2 weeks, I think they're going to stay put in column 2. Lightning are tied with the Maple Leafs and the Predators, all at 41 points. Smashville has the best record at 20-16-1. Lightning hasn't moved in 2 weeks. Maple Leafs are down 3. And the Devils, the Coyotes, the Penguins, and the Capitals are all at 40 points. Penguins have moved up 5 spots. Capitals dropped from column 2 to column 3. Seattle's at 39 points. Detroit's at 38 points. Oilers are tied with the Blues at 37 points. Minnesota Wild at 36. They are out of column 4, back into column 3. Flames are at 35, tied with the Canadiens. 2 Canadian teams in column 4, at the top of column 4. The Ottawa Senators are below them. Buffalo's at 34, Columbus at 32, Ottawa at 28, Anaheim at 26, Chicago at 24, and San Jose back at the bottom of the barrel at 21. Connor Bedard did do something quite well. He did get a game-winning goal I believe, last week. The Ducks actually did beat the Knights, which was a shocker. I did not see that one coming. Not at all. Wow, I get the 3-hand clap. How about that?
No. Like here's much like the Rose Bowl game yesterday.
Yes.
And we'll get there. In this case, the good deed did not go unpunished because I actually rooted for the Ducks. Oh, golly almighty.
You have to go brush your teeth there, bro?
I'll go back and puke off here. We're good. But but the minute we got in the car and realized the game was over, it's like, all right, hit the reset button. Boop. All right, fuck the Ducks again. Cool, very good. But they beat Vegas, so good job, Ducks. Good job. So anyway, carry on.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, I've got one for you.
What's that?
So, knowing that I'm the Wild fan, of course, got to
Yes.
follow my Minnesota teams.
Yes.
Forward Ryan Hartman.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So on Sunday's game in Minneapolis, Winnipeg was visiting, and the Wild lost 3-2. Well, apparently Hartman should have had a high sticking penalty. He did not get penalized. He's been fined $4,427.08 for that.
Which leads me to the question, why such an exact number? Just make it round.
Seriously.
It's the maximum allowable under the collective bargaining agreement. And it goes into their emergency assistance fund. So at least it's going to a good place. I mean,
yes.
But yeah, he got fined for high sticking because they did not call the penalty on it.
What if he doesn't have $4,500 and some odd cents in his account? I mean,
he's a professional hockey player, unless he's just not watching his money. And like Tyler says, it's burning a hole in his pocket. He's got the money to pay the fine.
NHL, take this advice. Make it a round number. It's so much easier in your books. Bottom line.
There are pennies on the board, man.
I know, man. Call it $4,500. Hey, boost it up to $5,000. That's an even nice rounded number.
Hey, now.
Anyway.
Okay, let's round it. It was 4,400 and change. Let's just make it a nice round 4,500. How's that?
Beautiful. Absolutely. Absolutely indeed. All righty. Let's see now. What's up next? College basketball. Not much. A lot of NCs again. The ladies have bounced up and down, left and right. Remember, all this is leading up towards March Madness later in a couple months, actually. In fact, the tournament draw is March 17th. So we've got about 2.5 months before that. Purdue, Kansas, and Houston. No changes, still top 3. UConn moves up to number 4. Our Tennessee Vols move up to the 5th position, top 5 team. Kentucky moves up 2. Marquette moves up 3. North Carolina moves up 1. Illinois moves up 2. Arizona, almost with the giant roller coaster drop, 6 spots down, but they are still in the top 10. Oklahoma goes up 1. BYU goes up 2. Colorado State up 2. Duke, the Blue Devils, up 2. Our possible Tennessee rivals, Memphis up 4. They're in the top 15. Clemson +2, Florida Atlantic. There's your roller coaster drop. -10 spots. They are out of the top 10. Baylor takes a little drop at 1. James Madison goes up, so they kind of switch spots. Texas -1. Wisconsin -2. Ole Miss, almost a roller coaster at 8. Providence at -2. Gonzaga, there's another one, a roller coaster drop, 11 spots, just barely hanging on. And Auburn is the new player in the top 25.
Ouch.
Yeah, so right now, actually getting ready to start here on the East Coast. DePaul at UConn. At 7 o'clock, you got East Carolina at Florida Atlantic. UNC at Pittsburgh. Norfolk State at Tennessee. Go Vols. Purdue at Maryland. Iowa at Wisconsin. At 8 o'clock tonight starts Cornell at Baylor. Northwestern at Illinois is 9 o'clock tonight. Syracuse at Duke at 9. Penn at Auburn at 9, and then New Mexico at Colorado State at 10:30.
All right. Can you read the women's ones, or you want me to handle that one?
Go ahead and give it a read, and I will
Alrighty.
pull up.
For the ladies, 4 teams have not moved: South Carolina, UCLA Bruins, North Carolina State, and Iowa. Top 4. There's your Mount Rushmore of the women's basketball right now. Colorado moves up 3. Baylor moves up 4. LSU stays put at 7. Stanford moves up 1. USC drops a little bit, not too bad, 3 spots. They're still in the top 10. And Texas with a mid-size drop at 5. Kansas State didn't move. UConn dropped 3 spots. Virginia Tech dropped a spot. Indiana moved up 2. Utah dropped 3. Notre Dame, even though I left out the E, it looks like Notre Dame, but it should be Notre Dame. -3 there. Louisville dropped 2. Gonzaga dropped 2. Marquette went up 1. The Ohio State -3. Creighton and Florida State didn't move. TCU dropped 2. West Virginia only dropped 1, and all out for Syracuse. They are brand new to the top 25.
Shout out to
And
South Carolina.
Today at 9 o'clock there's only one game for our college women. That's Michigan State at Iowa. Michigan State's 11-2, and Iowa is 13-1.
Very, very good. All righty. We'll see where the women go. Again, March 17th is the draw date. We go to the NBA. Not much change. The top 3 teams from the last week are still the top 3 teams this week. The Celtics, the Timberwolves, and the Bucks, all 1, 2, and 3. Boston at 26-6, Minnesota at 24-8, or Timberwolves at 24-8, and Bucks at 24-9. Denver Nuggets 24-11. They didn't move either, so there's your Mount Rushmore. 1, 2, 3, 4. Milwaukee's been in their spot the longest at 5 weeks. Oklahoma City at 22-9, switch spots with the Philadelphia 76ers at 22-10, and that rounds out column 1. The Clippers are at 20-12. Sacramento Kings are at 19-12. Jump of 4 spots for the Clippers. Good job for them. Magic at 19-13. Pelicans 19-14, tied with the Heat. It all comes down to the points per game. 116-113 currently. Mavericks round out column 2. They took a bit of a mid-sized drop, dropping 5 spots. And the Pacers have moved up to the top of the middle column. 5 big spots there. And Phoenix jumps from column 4 to column 3 with a +6. The Knicks and the Cavaliers are tied at 18-15. The Knicks have 115 the Suns and the Knicks have the same points per game at 115.2. The Suns have given up less games, therefore that's their tiebreaker at 113.6. Knicks are at 113.7. What am I missing? What is it? Oh, Renegade. Good one, Renegade.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you, Renegade. That was a good one. I should have said the Milwaukee Bucks. He's not wrong on that one.
There you go.
Lakers are at 500, 17 and 17 at the bottom of column 3. It's still the middle column, so it's okay. Nope, don't panic yet, LA fans. And the Rockets are at 16 and 15. They're above 500 as well. All the teams in column 4 and column 5 below 500. Golden State leads column 4 at 15 and 17. Brooklyn at 15 and 18. The Jazz at 15 and 19, tied with the Bulls at 113.8 and 109.9. The Hawks are at 13 and 19. Toronto has stayed put at the bottom of column 4 at 13 and 20 for 2 weeks. The Grizzlies are 10 and 22.
The Grizzlies have improved.
Nope, they've stayed put. They're in double digits. They have double digit wins.
Oh, well, I was just going to say they're no longer the cellar dwellers.
I got.
Yeah.
We got to talk about that.
I know you do. I know. I'm almost done here. Portland's at 9 and 23. Charlotte's at 7 and 24. And the bottom 3 teams are Washington, San Antonio, and Detroit. Detroit did set a new record at 28 games. They did not lose their 29th game against Toronto recently. So they finally won a game, but they are still the bottom dweller for the past 2 months, 8 weeks. Go ahead, Zach. What do you got?
So, as we've been covering week after week after week after week, John Morant is now officially back.
Yes.
He beat my team twice. His first game back, scored 27 points in the second half and beat my team at the buzzer.
Ooh.
A couple days later, did it again. So it's safe to say that, I'm not a fan with a child who plays with guns and then hits children on a basketball court and then is allowed to play in games and then beat my team. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But
you're I don't know if you noticed this right now, but you got a good little Bray Wyatt impersonation going on right now.
Thank you.
I'm hearing Bray Wyatt in your voice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Rest in peace.
I thought you were going to go off and say follow the buzzards. I think the anniversary just happened too. I think it's been almost a year. I think, or it has been since we lost Bray Wyatt too soon, much too soon. But yeah, I mean, I'm also wondering if during the insane streak that the Pistons were losing, how many people were like making bets and winning that the Pistons would lose, picking on the other team and making money that way. I remember a guy a long time ago, he would intentionally know that the other team was going to lose. He would make a bet on the other team and make more money that way. I'm like,
well, yeah, when you're making your bets, though, you're betting that this team is going to win as the general rule.
Well, yes, but he was saying, oh, the other team's not going to do as well, so I'm going to pick the other team even though they're the favorite. It's
Jeff put it perfectly.
Yeah?
Jeff put it perfectly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, indeed. We sung again! Excellent movie.
Okay, so just... Yeah, if January 2nd is almost August 24th, yeah, try again, Mikey.
Okay, then I didn't know the date, so I'm sorry. But
yeah, you should be.
I still miss
All right, so Zach, who is your team for basketball?
The
Pelicans.
And Josh, who is your team?
Cavs.
Mikey, who's your bandwagon team?
The Bucks.
The Antetokounmpo.
Milwaukee.
Okay,
it should
and
be
who's
Kansas.
my team?
The Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And between the 4 teams?
Uh-huh.
Yes, you're number 1.
Thank you.
I like what you did there.
Well, at least it's not fantasy football, right?
Well, don't start with that garbage. Don't go there. I will throw you in the penalty box.
Wait, what do you mean? Half of my team was injured this week.
There have been so many freaking injuries, but we'll get to that when we get to the NFL.
Boy, howdy.
Oh my lordy.
All right,
okay.
the CFP playoff is set. We've got our two teams. Michigan Wolverines defeat the Alabama Crimson Tide in overtime, 27-20, and the Washington Huskies beat the Texas Longhorns 37-31, setting up the matchup between the Big Blue and the Washington Huskies.
Huskies!
Yes, go Huskies.
Jeff has some thoughts. Jeff has some thoughts about this matchup.
I'm not sure what some thoughts indicate to two words, but yeah, fuck Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yes.
Fuck Harbaugh. Cheating asshole.
Ouch.
Yeah. That's how we feel about that.
Look, for real, like I don't. It's hard because at the end of the day, these are still college kids, right? Like I get there, they almost have to fall in line, right? They don't, they don't necessarily are not necessarily fully aware of what's going on. It's just for the Ohioans and those descended from, it's always fuck Michigan.
Amen.
Right? No matter what. But Harbaugh and his brother are such a couple of cheating asses and just assholes in general that it's just they make it more difficult on themselves by having that, by having that fuckhead around. Like it's just frustrating. And I rooted for Alabama on purpose.
Same.
I want so bad to have Conrad Thompson invite me on the podcast just to go, thanks a lot, Connie. Y'all have one job.
Just one.
Anyway.
Oh boy.
Anyway.
I those two are Bama too. And I hate Bama. Fuck Roll Tide.
I don't hate Bama. I mean, I can respect them, especially when I meet people that well, yeah, you're Louisiana. We know that. But see, I have to meet them on a guest level. I don't meet them in the bar while I'm drinking a beer. I have to be respectful to them. But 9 times out of 10, they'll laugh it off. I will say Roll Tide to a Roll Tide player or a Roll Tide person. I will say that. Then after that, it's fair game. It's like, what are you guys doing? When Michigan walks by, I'll give them the Go Big Blue. Josh, you'll understand this one. I throw out the OH, and if they do not answer with the IO in less than 1 second, they are not a Buckeyes fan.
Amen.
And then, of course, the Vols, I say go Vols. So, but I'm doing it out of respect. I'm not doing it out of taunting or anything.
Right.
I'm not doing that at all. So Monday, instead of getting Monday Night Football, you're getting the college championship.
Yes, that is Monday night at 7:30 Eastern, and they are playing at the NRG Stadium in Houston, and it'll be available to be watched on ESPN.
Indeed, where we get the majority of our sports and stats. Before we continue on with the rest of the news, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Gary Hebert, the man, the myth, the legend. I was amazed, and I was looking to become a better skater myself, and I wanted to be like Gary.
When you look at a guy like this, he's one of the most talented people in his profession. He's been given gifts by God.
It can get frustrating at times when you're trying things that maybe don't come as quickly to you as other things. And you never really felt that sense of frustration with Gary. It was always about improvement and positive reinforcement.
Was it really the end? Was that head injury really the end? God has called Gary to continue to be a blessing to others and to be a passionate example.
My name is Gary Hebert, and this is the World Academy of Hockey, otherwise known as the Inside Edge.
I would recommend anybody that have a chance to come to his hockey school. I think it'd be well worth it. It'd be rewarding to all the kids and anyone he coaches, from whether it's an adult, a professional player, to a little kid like a Mike or a Squirt.
Gary, from day one, has been instrumental to my hockey career. I started out as a potential Division III player, and Gary brought me single-handedly through high school and into a top Division I prospect. I owe it all to Gary, the biggest legend on and off ice there's ever been.
Listen, watch, learn, be confident, and have faith. Those are the answers I was brought to. Yet, I only now am really learning how truly important those 5 things are.
Through preparation, through appropriate thoughtfulness and thinking, we can learn to untie the typical knots between our ears that drive us into underachievement and underperformance. And lo and behold, we can learn, I think, to fulfill our God-given potential.
Gary has the innate ability to make people not only better players, but better people. The life lessons they learn from Gary are incredible.
I can always remember leaving that rink knowing as a player I got better or I had something to improve on to get better. And I think that's what you excelled on as a coach, is giving us the knowledge to know what we needed to do to get better.
There's coaches who know the game, but can you communicate and create passion in your kids and in your players? And Gary's able to do that.
Gary's got great knowledge and the great hands, but more importantly, his ability to connect with people and care for them. His communication skills, to me, really stand out, separate him, and that's why he's one of the best, in the world.
Gary's a legend. He's a special, special man.
Indeed, he is a special man. That's why we put him in our lineup. Can't wait for that documentary to come out. All righty, friends. When NFL season ends, we still have football to talk about, and usually it's the XFL and the USFL, but guess what? They are merging into one brand new company, the UFL, the United Football League. And kickoff is going to be Sunday, March 30th, as the USFL champion Birmingham Stallions take on the XFL champion Arlington Renegades. The 4 teams from the XFL, the Renegades, the Brahmas, the DC Defenders, and I'm trying to remember that one. I can't remember the last one. The Battlehawks will be going up against the Stallions, the Roughnecks, the Showboats, and the Panthers from the USFL. Danny and Dwayne Johnson made this announcement just recently. What do we think about this? I mean, when 2 leagues form into one, I mean, it's more football when you at the end of the day, but what do we think here, friends?
I mean, what was the thought process at picking these teams? What drew you down?
I don't think it was just pick the names out of a hat, Maybe it was it the 4 best teams from both leagues? That could have been it.
So the 8-team UFL League to start on 30th of March. They'll be divided into 2 conferences. The USFL conference is the Stallions, Roughnecks, Showboats, and Panthers. The Arlington Renegades, Defenders, San Antonio Brahmas, and the Battlehawks will be the XFL conference. So we'll still have the XFL as the separate conferences. They're just now under one overall title, the UFL. Houston was the one overlapping market between the 2 and deemed one of the strongest markets for both leagues. So as a result, the Houston Gamblers are now the Houston Roughnecks. We know the opening game will be the Stallions at the Renegades, the 23 the champs for each previous league. They report to training on my birthday in Arlington, Texas. For those of you who don't know when my birthday is, February 24th.
Gosh, I really had planned for you that day. It's going to be all about you. We know that.
Yeah, it's going to be all about me and y'all leaving me alone and letting me sleep.
Oh. Okay.
We'll discuss it later.
Thank you.
Former president and chief executive of the XFL, Russ Brandon, will lead as president and chief executive. Daryl Johnston, former USFL president of football operations, will continue to lead football ops. They'll be televised on Fox, Fox Sports 1, ABC, and ESPN.
Okay, so they've got coverage. That's good.
Ooh.
I don't think the coverage is all that good last year, but go ahead.
This states that the group fronted by Danny Garcia and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson lost a reported $60 million in 2023 comeback season, although investors have maintained they are in it for the long haul. It's possible because of a shared visionary mindset, a profound passion for the game, and a firsthand experience living and creating the opportunities that football makes possible. As a unified sprint team, $60 million. They're able to deepen their commitment to unlocking and surpassing dreams of players, coaches, staff, and fans. Represents continued legacy and evolution. Yeah. A spring league with lasting impact for all the players with a dream to play pro football and the hardest workers in the room mentally to make their dreams come true.
My only problem that I had with the XFL last season was the sideline reporting, where literally after a play, after a tackle, after a touchdown, you don't expect a sideline reporter to throw a microphone in your face and say, "What happened? How do you feel?" That was where I kind of was like, okay, that's just weird. You know, you've got your let's say by some miracle I sacked the quarterback. In what world, right? But of course, the adrenaline's going to be rushing. I'm going to make sure, one, I'm going to want to make sure he's okay. Two, I'm not going to want a microphone in my face because it's going to throw off, the focus. You're just not going to want to hit somebody. Oh, interview me. That's where I was kind of wondering. That's you don't do that. You do it heading to the locker room. Coach, what do we have to do in the next quarter? Coach, what do we have to do in this next half? Coach, what happened at the end of the game? Not, Coach, do you agree with that call? Coach is going to say, F no, I don't. The ref is blind.
It's like wrestling commentary in football.
Oh, yes, I could. Of course I could tackle a Works burger.
In his soul, intense dreams out of control.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, fine.
So just a little more information for our teams here. Yes, Jeff.
Whoa.
Your Birmingham Stallions will be playing at the Protective Stadium in Birmingham and coached by head coach Skip Holtz. The Houston Roughnecks will be in Houston, Texas. Their stadium has not been announced yet, and their head coach is Curtis Johnson. The Memphis Showboats, of course, will be playing in Memphis, Tennessee at the Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium and coached by John DiFilippo.
Very good. 6 hours away,
Michigan Panthers will be playing out of Detroit at Ford Field with Coach Mike Nolan. The Arlington Renegades will be in Arlington, Texas at Choctaw Stadium, coached by Bob Stoops. The DC Defenders, of course, will be in Washington, D.C. at Audi Field, coached by Reggie Barlow. The San Antonio Brahmas will be, of course, in San Antonio, Texas. Wow, we've got 3 Texas teams. They'll be playing at the Alamo Dome and coached by Wade Phillips. And the St. Louis Battlehawks will be in St. Louis, Missouri, the Dome at America Center, coached by Anthony Becht, B-E-C-H-T.
You know what they say about Texas and football. God, football, barbecue.
Pretty much.
In that order.
Gee, Wade Phillips is coaching another Texas team. Why doesn't that surprise me? Wade Phillips, he was the former coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
So Jeff's
we'll be
going to
talking. Coming up, we talk about them in just a bit. With Houston being the biggest market for both leagues, the United Front figure just keeps the Texas team in place to capitalize. Indeed.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. Indeed it is. Well, it's like we said, let's wait and see. All right, it's time for the meat and potatoes of Stat Boy Sports Bar, and that is NFL football week 17. It looks like Josh is doing the Prince Nene dance because the Cleveland Browns stomped all over the New York Jets. They clinched their playoff spot because of this game. 37-20 is the final score. The Jets got the red can of paint, the red spray paint of doom. Dory Lou's got the stats. Let's hear them.
For the Jets, quarterback Trevor Siemian completed 32 out of 45 passes for 261 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, rushed 4 times for 13 yards. Running back Breece Hall caught 9 out of 9 passes for 42 yards with a touchdown. He also rushed 13 times with 84 yards. And wide receiver Garrett Wilson, only at 50% with the targets here. He caught 5 out of 10 for 50 yards. He rushed once but didn't get anywhere. Over for the Cleveland Browns and Joe Flacco. He completed 19 out of 29 passes for 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He rushed twice for 3 yards. Running back Jerome Ford caught 2 out of 3 passes for 57 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushed 12 times for 64 yards. And I'm going to say his name wrong. Tight end David Njoku.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say it right?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. Caught 6 out of 8 for 134 yards.
Are you happy, Josh?
I'm a very happy boy. And one story's done with her stats. I have a few myself.
Go ahead. This is your moment. This is all you, bro.
You've got your Browns. Go for it.
Oh, we are going to the playoffs, bitches. Take that, Greg. Take that, Big G. Woo! So the Kevin Stefanski, in beating the Jets, has now surpassed fuck Bill Belichick to now be the number 5 of the Browns' all-time winningest coaches with 37 games, and he is the first head coach since Marty, I don't even know how the heck to pronounce his last name.
Schottenheimer.
That to get multiple playoff berths. And in this, so thank you. Stefanski, you need to be coach of the year again. Is just the first half of this game. So Joe Flacco threw for over 121 yards outside the pocket, the most in any game of his entire NFL career.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy crap. He was just, my gosh. Where was the other stats I had? Yeah, so this goes to, since 1999, the Browns' longest winning streak was 4 games. Now that's happened under Stefanski and still might continue. That's just, holy cow, just amazing. The fact that we are going to the playoffs, can probably still beat the Bungles. We're not going to be the number 1 seed. We're not going to be number 1 in our division, but hey, I mean, 12-5, I'll freaking take it. If we get to 12-5, I will take it to the bank every single day of a freaking week.
That is right. You are guaranteed to go in. You are a wild card spot. Right now, you are playing the Jaguars. If the playoffs started today, it will be Jaguars-Browns in the opening round. But the Browns still have 1 more game to go.
Yes, and to real quick, before to answer JJ's comment, I would like to say rest in peace to the quarterback who won us our last NFL title, which was Frank Ryan, who died at 87 today. He won us our last NFL title in 1964. So rest in peace to you, and we're going to win this one for you, because let's get that storybook Super Bowl, Browns versus Lions, and we're going to put those kiddies down.
Wow, bold statement there, brother. Well, speaking of the Kitty Cats, they lose 20-19 against the Cowboys. Now, this game initially was, both teams were already in the playoffs as it is, but they were, trying to just get worked up. The Lions were, after scoring their touchdown, one of the players went over to the official to declare himself eligible. This is for the 2-point conversion with about 20 seconds left in the game. Play is made. I know, right? The play was made. Goff went back in the end zone. 2-point conversion is good. Flag on the play. Ineligible player downfield. We'll run it back 5 yards. Try it again. Illegal touch. Try it again. Incomplete pass at the 1-yard line. Cowboys hold off to win. Both teams are 11-5. Of course, everyone's saying that the Cowboys were lucky, bad officiating. The Detroit coach was not very happy, of course. He made a lot stated in his press conference. After Dory Lou gives us the stats, we'll do a quick talk on this one and then go on to the next game. Go ahead, Dory Lou.
I also have the Week 18 matchups if you want them.
Okay, we can do that with the last two graphics at the end. So right. I briefly have them, but they will be mentioned because of implications and scenarios.
Gotcha. Okay. So for Detroit, Goff completed 19 of 34 passes, 271 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, no rushing. Running back David Montgomery rushed 14 times for 65 yards with the touchdown. And wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown caught 6 of 8 passes for 90 yards with a touchdown. He also rushed once for 11 yards. Over for the Dallas side, Prescott completed 24 of 38 passes for 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, rushed twice for 5 yards. Running back Tony Pollard rushed 16 times for 49 yards. And wide receiver CeeDee Lamb caught 13 of 17 passes for 227 yards with a touchdown, rushed once for 5 yards.
So I believe that makes the interception count at 8, if the count is correct.
I'm looking it up right now.
So we'll get that real quick. The big question along all the sports news this morning, were the Cowboys lucky or were the Lions just cheated out of it?
Well, Pop said the ref was the Cowboys' favorite player. Detroit was robbed.
I love you, Pop, but stop. I don't think so. I just think it was a bad play. It was just a bad play, and if we don't know what the player said to the official when he came in the game. We don't have that information. It's between them. We can only speculate because not everybody's mic'd up. And then, illegal play. The illegal touch call, which brought it closer. Then he just threw the ball and he didn't catch it. Bottom line. I can understand why the Detroit coach is upset, but still.
Yeah, me too. But that's okay. Trucker Aaron is very happy with these with the Lions right now.
Both teams are in. They're going to play in the playoffs. We'll see where it goes from there.
All right, next up.
Right. What do we got?
Next up, I've got Miami at Baltimore.
Wait, I think Jeff is asking a question. How is an eligible receiver downfield a ref bias? I wouldn't say it was being biased. My guess is if I'm the referee, my belief is as he's going to say I didn't hear him. That's my guess.
Okay, hang on. Okay, I was trying to avoid coming in because I didn't want to come off as as Jerry said, worshiping the Cowboys because everybody knows I'm a Cowboys fan before I'm an NFL fan. I did not get to see the game because I was busy. I'm genuinely curious. What was the call on the first play? Because an eligible receiver downfield is somebody that's not eligible to catch the ball down the field. what I thought I heard you say was that player told the referee he was eligible.
The player said he was eligible. He was declaring himself eligible. But when he caught the ball, the referee deemed that he wasn't.
Okay. How does a player declare himself eligible? I'm
Announcing it.
I'm genuinely confused on the rule.
I believe he has to physically go to the official and say, I'm going to be a receiver in this play.
Okay. And so the claim was the referee didn't hear him declare himself.
The referee deemed that he was ineligible to make a catch. It was the 2-point conversion. So the downfield part, that I understand. That's my mistake on that one. I mean, and so they got penalized the 5 yards. They got to try it again, and then I believe
illegal touch. So they got those 5 yards back.
Yeah,
illegal touch meaning what? Like, lay it out for me.
Whatever illegal. I don't know what illegal touch is, but that was the next play.
So illegal touching is when you step out of bounds and then step back in before fully possessing yourself in bounds. Or you're on defense.
That's a perfectly viable call. I've seen it 100 times. Go ahead, Mike.
And then the third play, incomplete pass, 2-point conversion, no good. Giving the Cowboys the win.
Okay. So, yes, Cowboys won. I'm always happy the Cowboys win. Like, whatever. But if I can see why the Lions lovers and the Cowboy haters especially would be upset by this sequence of events. So I don't disagree with Jerry, but I appreciate the wanting to show the love for the boss, and that's fine. But let's call a spade every now and again when it's warranted. That was based on what I have heard, not just here today, but I've heard since whatever game this was, Saturday. It was a rough ending. So yeah. And both teams are 11-5 now. The Lions are having the year of their freaking franchise history. Like, holy shit. So good on them. And to Big G's point, since Josh ragging on them earlier, Steelers are still going to have an opportunity to make it in this weekend.
Yes,
so it's very easy to hate on the Cowboys, and I don't disagree with that. It's easy to hate on the Steelers when you're a Cowboys fan or when you are live in Ohio. But to JJ's point earlier, Josh, you may want to reel it in just a smidge. Y'all haven't won an actual Super Bowl. You won the championship in 1964 before any of us were born.
Exactly.
So slow the roll. It's all we're saying. And yes, we all need to stop the Cowboys worship, even me. Like, I need to be a better channel host rather than a biased fan. But Den Boys. Anyway.
Den Boys. All right. Here we go.
Yes, Josh.
Two things. One, Browns are actually doing good. So yes, we get to celebrate like we've won the Super Bowl already. We don't care. Two, to respond to Mr. Big G there, your praise of little Rudolph the Red-Nosed Football Player.
Yes. Yes.
You wouldn't have ever been saying that. You wouldn't have ever been saying that before Big Ben retired.
Oh, I'm glad
you're digging yourself with every word. Stop.
Yep.
All right.
Moving on.
The Ravens showed their AFC dominance by putting up 56 points over the Miami Dolphins. Both teams are in. This game clinches the number 1 seed for the Ravens, so their Week 18 game can be considered a warm-up game, even though it does have implications later on. But right now, the Ravens are the number 1 team, and they will be skipped over awaiting the winners of Wild Card Weekend. Let's hear the stats on Baltimore and Miami.
So the message I got, because I worked very late on New Year's Eve, but the message I got from Tyler, because he got the score before I did, we were really busy, so even trying to listen to a game was dang near impossible. Ravens 8, Dolphin.
The Ravens swooped down.
Ravens 8, Dolphin. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. So over.
Go ahead, Dory.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Okay, and
Tago Bailoa.
it's Greg. Him and I are still going to talk crap with each other.
Okay, well, talk crap with each other off the air. Here we go. Tago Bailoa, 22 of 38 completions, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, rushed twice for 14 yards. Running back Devon.
H.A.
Thank you. H.A. caught 4 out of 5 passes for 30 yards with a touchdown. He also rushed 14 times for 107 yards. And wide receiver Tyreek Hill caught 6 of 12 passes for 76 yards. Over for Baltimore, Lamar Jackson. Okay. 18 of 21. Completed 18 of 21 passes for 321 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. He rushed 6 times for 35 yards. Why do I have that on the side? Oh, that's why, because apparently Tyler Huntley was in there briefly, or whatever he was doing. He threw 1 for 19 yards and got a touchdown. We're not going to discuss his rushing. Running back, Gus Edwards. He rushed 16 times for 68 yards with a touchdown. And your top receiver was wide receiver Zay Flowers. Smelling like roses.
There you go.
3 of 3, 106 yards with a touchdown.
All righty. Go Ravens in this household too. All righty. Bill Belichick loses again to the Bills 27-21. The Bills have not yet clinched their playoff spot. They do have a scenario coming up in week 18. Of course, the Patriots have been done since week 14. Let's hear the numbers on that one, please. Dory Lou.
All right. Over for New England, Bailey Zapp completed 16 of 26 passes for 209 yards. He threw 3 interceptions. He rushed 5 times for 37 yards. One of those resulted in a touchdown. Running back Ezekiel Elliott caught 1 of 2 passes for 6 yards. He was the top rusher over there, 14 times for 39 yards with a touchdown. And running back Kevin Harris was your top receiver, caught 2 of 2 for 54 yards, rushed twice for 15 yards. Over for Buffalo, Josh Allen completed 15 of 30 passes for 169 yards, no touchdowns, got 1 interception. He rushed 11 times, though. In that 11 times, he got 44 yards and 2 touchdowns. Running back James Cook caught 1 of 3, but he got negative yardage on that. But however, he did rush 16 times for 48 yards. And tight end Dalton Kincaid caught 4 of 7 passes for 87 yards. Quick side note on this game. Our extended family member, for New England, defensive back number 28, Alex Austin, got his first pro career interception.
Well done, nephew. Good job. I almost forgot about that. I saw the clip. It only takes one to get started. It was late in the season, but he did it. Well done, nephew.
Yep.
Good job.
So, that one interception that Josh Allen threw, Alex Austin caught it.
There you go.
There we go.
Let's see what happens in week 18, and then let's focus on next season after that. Good job, nephew. Good job. All righty. The Bears almost survived week 17. They did win this game that they needed to, but due to other games in the league being their rivals, they are now out, but they did what they were supposed to do. They did beat the Falcons 37-17. Dory Lou, go ahead.
Tyler Heineke completed 10 of 29 passes for 163 yards with 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. He did rush 4 times for 46 yards. One of those resulted in a touchdown. I have a note here that Desmond Ridder was also on the field briefly. Completed 3 of 4 passes for 17 yards. He threw an interception, no touchdowns. Running back Bijan Robinson Caught 3 out of 4 passes for 11 yards, rushed 15 times for 75 yards, and running back Tyler Allgeier caught 1 pass for 75 yards with a touchdown, rushed 5 times for 13 yards. Over for Chicago, Justin Fields, 20 of 32 for 268 with a touchdown and no interceptions. He rushed 11 times for 45 yards with a touchdown. Running back Khalil Herbert caught 2 of 3 passes for 5 yards, rushed 18 times for 124 yards with a touchdown. And wide receiver DJ Moore caught 9 of 13 passes, 159 yards, and 1 touchdown. Dumb Bears are not being so dumb.
All righty. Our Titans have already been eliminated, but they just didn't want to play today. They only got a field goal. The Texans do still have a chance to stay alive as they win 26-3. How did they do? We go to Dory Lou.
Well, real quick, the Bears have the number 1 pick now. Is that true?
Yes, it would have gone to Carolina, but Chicago got it by way of a trade, so they get the number 1 pick. Yes.
Nice. All right. For those sorry Titans, no wonder the rest of the Greek gods took out the Titans.
Whoa! Hey!
Sorry, I had to throw a little bit of Greek history in there. Ryan Tannehill completed 16 of 20 passes for 168 yards. He didn't do anything else with that. Running back Derrick Henry rushed 12 times for 42 yards, and I didn't write it down, but he's a wide receiver, if I remember correctly. DeAndre Hopkins, 100%, 7 of 7 for 72 yards. Over for Houston, C.J. Stroud completed 24 of 32 passes for 213 yards with 1 touchdown, rushed once for 4 yards. Running back Devin Singletary, again, 100%, 3 out of 3 for 6 yards, rushed 16 times for 80 yards. And Nico Collins caught 7 of 8 for 80 yards, and he rushed once for 7. Off to you.
Again, Houston is still alive. CJ Stroud has a chance to get into the playoffs.
Welcome back, CJ.
There you go. All right, the Colts took out the Raiders 23-20. The Raiders almost thought that they could survive the red spray can of doom, but it just didn't happen as they, after putting up all those points that one game a couple weeks ago, it's not going to happen, Raider Nation. I'm sorry. 23-20, your final score.
Over for Vegas, O'Connell completed 30 of 47 passes for 229 yards with 2 touchdowns. He rushed twice for 3 yards. His top running back was Zamir White, caught 5 of 6 passes for 35 yards, rushing 20 times for 71 yards. And over there, former Minnesota Viking Green Bay Packer.
You're right.
Former Packer Devontae Adams caught 13 of 21 passes for 126 yards with 2 touchdowns. Nice job, Devontae. Even if you were a Packer. Hey, I knew who to watch back in the day. And then over for Indianapolis, Gardner Minshew completed 15 of 23 passes, 224 yards, 1 touchdown, rushed twice for 3 yards. Running back Jonathan Taylor caught 1 pass for 8 yards, rushed 21 times, 96 yards with 1 touchdown. And wide receiver Alec Pierce caught 1 for 58 yards, which resulted in a touchdown.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The Jaguars blanked the Carolina Panthers. Where's the mercy rule on this team? It doesn't exist. 26-0, keeping the Jaguars alive in the playoff race. But of course, not only did they not score any points, but David Tepper gets fined $300,000. This is the owner of the team. The NFL has deemed it's unacceptable conduct during the loss. He was caught throwing a drink. My question is, was it a bottle or was it an actual refreshment stand drink? If it was a bottle, absolutely. If it was just your good old-fashioned run-of-the-mill soda pop that you can buy at 7-Eleven, and Josh, I think you have the news on this one, don't you?
I sent the news, but I have not seen any further information than what you've just reported.
Okay, well, he shouldn't have done that. $300,000. Bad move. Jaguars win 26-0. Go ahead, Dory Lou.
All NFL personnel are expected to conduct themselves at all times in ways that respect our fans and favorably reflect on their team and the NFL. Statement from David Tepper: I am deeply passionate about this team and regret my behavior on Sunday. I should have let NFL stadium security handle any issues that arose. I respect the NFL's code of conduct and accept the league's discipline for my behavior.
Okay. Like I said,
So
if
that would
if
yeah.
it was a bottle, I would be absolutely. If it was just your run-of-the-mill soda that you can buy, then I don't think it was worth it. Either way, the punishment fits the crime. Go ahead, Dory Lou.
All right. So Bryce Young completed 19 of 32 passes for 112 yards. He threw 1 interception. Running back Jabba Hubbard caught 4 out of 5 passes for 26 yards, rushed 11 times for 45. And wide receiver, now it's the former Viking, Adam Thielen, 100%, 6 out of 6 for 38 yards. Over for Jacksonville, CJ Beathard completed 17 of 24 passes for 178 yards. He rushed 3 times for 24. Running back Travis Etienne caught 2 of 2 for 16 yards, rushed 16 times, 102 yards with 2 touchdowns. And tight end Evan Ingram, another 100%er, 6 out of 6 for 60 yards.
All right. Sorry, Carolina. Bryce Young, rookie season done. The Rams squeak out a victory against the Giants and clinch the wild card spot at 9-7. They beat the Giants by a point, 26-25. Let's see what the Rams did as we go to the stats.
Well, Matthew Stafford apparently showed up. He completed 24 of 34 passes for 317 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Running back Kyren Williams caught 2 passes out of 2 targets for 14 yards. He rushed 20 times, 87 yards. 3 of those touchdowns were credited to Kyren Williams. Their top receiver was Puka Nacua, 5 of 8 for 118 yards, and he rushed twice for 19 yards. Over for the Giants, Tyrod Taylor completed 27 of 41 passes for 319 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's also the top rusher, rushing 6 times for 40 yards. Saquon Barkley was right behind him, rushing 12 times for only 39. He also caught 3 out of 6 passes for 19 yards. And wide receiver Darius Slayton caught 4 of 6 for 106 yards with a touchdown.
All righty.
All right.
Here we go. The Eagles are just falling apart, slipping along, losing to the Cardinals 35-31. That was not supposed to happen. Eagles already had the playoff spot. They just need to buckle up. It's the playoff season. Go ahead, Dory Lou.
Kyler Murray, 25 of 31 for 232 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, rushed 5 times for 24 yards. Running back James Conner caught 1 pass for 5 yards, 1 touchdown, rushed 26 times for 128 yards with a touchdown. And wide receiver Greg Dortch, if I said it right, I hope, 7 of 7 for 82 yards. Over for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts completed 18 of 23 for 167 yards with 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. He rushed 8 times for 25 yards. Running back DeAndre Swift caught 1 pass for 5 yards, rushed 13 times for 61 yards. And wide receiver A.J. Brown caught 4 out of 5 passes for 35 yards.
Buckle up, Eagles. It's not going to be any easier. Saints stay alive as Saints and the Buccaneers are actually still in the playoff race at 8-8. The Saints win this one 23-13.
Derek Carr completed 24 of 32 passes, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. Taysom Hill was in there briefly also. He completed 1 of 2 passes for 11 yards. Taysom Hill also rushed twice for 1 yard. He caught 2 passes for 30 yards with a touchdown as a receiver. Running back Jamal Williams caught 4 out of 4 for 13 yards. He rushed 19 times for 58 yards. Over for Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield completed 22 of 33 passes for 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Running back Rachaad White caught 4 of 4 for 25 yards, rushed 11 times for 42. And wide receiver Trey Palmer caught 4 out of 5 for 84 yards with a touchdown.
All right. Remember, both teams are still alive. San Francisco establishes their number 1 dominance in the NFC, winning over Washington 27-10. They get the pass into the next round. Brock Purdy is going back to the playoffs.
All right, and you didn't say it quite right. Brock Purdy completed 22 of 28 passes for 230 yards with 2 touchdowns. Running back Elijah Mitchell rushed 17 times, 80 yards with a touchdown. And wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, I hope I said it right, 7 of 8, 114 yards, 1 touchdown. Over for the Commanders, Sam Howell completed 17 of 28 for 169 yards with a touchdown through 2 interceptions. Running back Brian Robinson, 4 out of 4 passes for 32 yards, rushed 9 times for 44. And wide receiver Terry McLaurin caught 4 of 6 passes for 61 yards with a touchdown.
All righty. The Steelers stay alive, and they beat the Seahawks 30-28. The Seahawks are still in. Both teams are eligible to go to the playoffs. Oh, and Josh isn't happy. We got it. Go ahead,
Josh
Lou.
isn't happy. Big G is happy. And here are your stats. So Mason Rudolph, the red-nosed football player. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
18 of 24 passes, 274 yards, rushed 6 times for 5. Running back Najee Harris rushed 27 times for 122 yards with 2 touchdowns. Wide receiver George Pickens, 7 of 9 passes for 131 yards. Geno Smith completed 23 of 33 passes for 290 yards with a touchdown. He rushed 3 times for 33 yards. Running back Kenneth Walker caught 3 out of 3 for 22 yards. He also rushed 10 times for 53 yards with a touchdown. And wide receiver DK Metcalf caught 5 out of 8 passes for 106 yards.
All right.
Next game.
Broncos, they are still alive as well. Oh no, they are out. They are out at 8-8. They did have a scenario, but they didn't quite make it. 16-9, the final score.
Easton Stick. Don't call him Weston. That's his twin. Easton Stick, 24 passes out of 38 completed, 220 yards, rushed 5 times for 31. Running back Austin Eckler caught 1 of 2 passes for 4 yards, rushed 13 times for 46. And wide receiver Alex Erickson caught 7 of 8 passes for 98 yards. Over for Denver, Stidham was in because, Wilson we won't talk about. Caught 20 of 32 passes, completed 20 of 32 passes, 224 yards with 1 touchdown. He rushed 6 times for 6 yards. Running back Jaleel McLaughlin caught 3 of 3 passes, 18 yards, rushed 8 times for 44 of them. And wide receiver, I laughed at this, I'm sorry, Little Jordan Humphrey caught 2 of 4 passes, 69 yards with a touchdown. Y'all know why I laughed. Okay, we're good.
Indeed. Kansas City clinched the AFC West, and they are going in to the playoffs as they knock out the Bengals, the only team, one of 2 teams that were 8-8, 25-17 final score. How did Patrick Mahomes do?
All right. For the Bungles, I think that's what Josh called them. Yep. The Bungles. Okay. Jake Browning completed only 19 of 33 passes for 197 yards with a touchdown. However, he did rush 7 times for 32 yards with 1 resulting in a touchdown. Running back Joe Mixon caught 4 of 4 for 22 yards, 1 touchdown, rushed 21 times for 65 yards. And Jamar Chase only caught 3 out of 7 passes for 41 yards. Over for Kansas City, Mr. Mahomes, who needs to get his ego in check a little bit, I think.
Indeed, agreed.
21 of 20, completed 21 of 29 passes, 245 yards, 1 touchdown, rushed 4 times for only 2 yards. Running back Isaiah Pacheco caught 7 of 7 for 35 yards with a touchdown. He rushed 18 times for 130 yards. And wide receiver Rashee Rice caught 5 of 6 for 127 yards.
All righty. Defending their title. And the last game of the week, it's not a good one, because the Packers got the Vikings, but because of the loss that Seattle had, this saved the Vikings from the red spray can of doom. However, they are right on the cusp. I mean, it was that close. It just didn't happen. But at least, because Dory Lou teaches us to be positive, the Vikings are still alive. It's just going to take a lot to get them into the playoffs. 33-10.
Yeah, because we play Detroit next week.
Yeah, give us the numbers.
All right.
I know.
For the Packers, Jordan Love completed 24 of 33 for 256 yards, 3 touchdowns. He rushed twice for 2 yards with a touchdown. You also had backup Sean Clifford in there for 1 pass completed for 37 yards. He also rushed twice but lost yardage on it. I'm happy about that. Okay. Running back Aaron Jones caught 6 of 9 passes for 105 yards with a touchdown. And back up. Running back Aaron Jones, 1 of 1 for 10 yards, rushed 20 times for 120. Wide receiver Bo Melton caught 6 of 9 for 105 yards with a touchdown. And damn it, Vikings, Jaron Hall. That's where for your first screw up. He completed 5 of 10 passes before he got yanked, 67 yards. He rushed twice for only 4. They brought Mullins back in. 13 of 22 passes completed for 113 yards with a touchdown. He rushed once for 6 yards. Running back Ty Chandler caught 3 of 3 passes for 24 yards. He rushed 10 times for only 40. And wide receiver Justin Jefferson is back in the game, caught 5 of 10 for 59 yards.
So what is this? I know. So what does this all mean? There is the power rankings. Little Bart and his spray can. He's all done with column 4. He's moved into column 3. King Bugs is back in the castle where he belongs. He bestowed a lot of playoff spots to all of column 1 and the Eagles in column 2. Ravens and 49ers are the number 1 teams in the respective conferences. So they are the number 1 and number 2 teams overall in the power rankings. It's down by records. So Baltimore's number 1 team for the week. Lions and Chiefs have clinched their divisions. That's why they're number 3 and number 4. The Browns and the Rams are guaranteed wild card spots. That is why they are 5 and 6. And the Dolphins, the Cowboys, and the Eagles, even though they do have better records than the Rams and possibly better points than the Browns, right now, we don't know where they're going to end up. So being a guaranteed wild card gives you an edge over a playoff spot. The next teams, the Bills, the Colts, the Jaguars, the Texans, the Steelers, the Packers, and the Saints, and all the way down to the Falcons, they are all still alive. They survived elimination week. Broncos all the way down to the Panthers, they are out. They are just playing now for the season. And Dory Lou has something to be positive about because she is now overall the number 1 player in the Pick'em with a 12 and an 11, scoring 23 points in 2 weeks. I'm not certain if this happened in the last year where she was behind, and in the very last couple of weeks, she surged up to the lead. She has a 2-point lead over Daniel and JP. Zach finished second in week 16. She won week 16 with a 12. There were a lot of ties too. I mean, look at that. Everybody tied for second place in both weeks. Ties galore. So Daniel and JP are tied at 157, Emmanuel at 149, Nathan at 146, Zach at 142, Renegade at 139, and Pop at 134. Week 18 is going to be wild. Uh-oh.
Brock Purdy.
Fuck yes!
That's a new
Thank you.
one.
I said it right.
Yes, she did. She said it right indeed. All right, friends, we have reached our time limit for the day. We want to give you guys a bit of a break before you go into New Year's Evil. Do we want to go into the shills and then into this? I believe that's what we're doing next. The shills and the. Yes, we are going into the shills. All righty.
Jeff's here.
All right, here we go. Everyone got Excalibur the hell out of this shit. I'm not going. That's enough out of me. Okay, there we go. That's all I need is two voices of me. That's scary shit right there. Okay.
Yeah.
So New Year's Evil, of course, coming up about 15 minutes or so. So be ready for that at the quarter till the hour. Tomorrow, For the Love of Wrestling, covering Raw and NXT, the Greg Cherry Show, and the start of our coverage of Wrestle Kingdom. Thursday, continuing Wrestle Kingdom into the hours because who needs sleep, right? For the Love of Wrestling, reviewing AEW Dynamite. Meech's Musings live from Peacock Place at LA Live at downtown Los Angeles tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific. Friday, SmackDown New Year's Revolution coverage right here on the Jeff Beach Network, Multiverse of Media, 8 o'clock Eastern at 7:45. Open mic night back in its usual time slot Saturday. And then we sleep on Sunday.
Sleep? What's
no content at all, right?
Not a damn thing. There may be a town hall / group meeting amongst the entirety of the multiverse hosts, but we'll defer to JJ for that when we need to. We don't have anything worked out just yet.
Okay.
Josh.
Follow me on the Twix at Walking Hymnal, Instagram, Mangram, and I may or may not just have a couple articles coming out on No DQ throughout this month. I got a few things in my back pocket that I'm looking to be writing about, so you can find me there and find me on Jeff's content, usually getting my ass verbally whipped.
That won't happen if you do your homework, bro.
Oh,
let me say about that. Well done job. You saw on open mic night, if my jaw could go through the floor, it did. That's up there with MJF, bro. I don't know how you pulled it off. I don't want to know how you pulled it off.
Okay,
but props.
It's not anywhere near MJF because Russo and Joe Hendry and Mick Foley had to pay for it.
Good enough. Go ahead.
Max I paid for, but the fan reaction from Max was worth every bit of the money I had to shell out just to get in the door. Anyway.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yes. Zach.
Continue. Zach, go ahead.
Follow me on Twitter at Fluffy Madden God, Instagram at DJ Muck King Official. You know,
anything special coming up at the clubs?
It'd be nice if the Saints make the playoffs. You know, that's good from my standpoint. Yeah. But it would result in either facing the Cowboys or the Eagles week 1. So yeah, it's one and done, baby.
Follow
all right,
us
kids.
On the Twitter at LBStatKid1977 and Hathaway Lou. With me, I've been putting up a lot of food tweets. What's missing from this breakfast? So hey, I can rant about anything still. Breakfast foods are the best. Catch me on Instagram at StatBoy13. Follow Dory Lou on Instagram at her name, Dory Lou. And drop us a line. Remember, use the hashtags StatBoyApproved and StatGirlApproved. And we'll answer.
All right. And follow the Renegade JJ Williams on Instagram, Casa D-18 Studios on YouTube, RLWJJ Williams on Twix. He'll be on the call with Noah Foster in just about, as I said, 15 minutes across the multiverse as we go live with our coverage. Less than that now, almost 10 minutes. NXT New Year's Evil. That is what's coming up tonight across the 5 non-No DQ channels of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media. So stay tuned.
We always end our show on a positive note with Dory Lou's Weekly Delight. Then we say our goodbyes. Our first positive thought of 2024. Take it away, Dory Lou.
All right. So trying to keeping those positive vibes going out in the universe. From Grace Coddington. Good way to start the year. And I'm going to try and start posting these weekly also on my medias. So if you don't catch it here, you can catch it on any of my socials. Always keep your eyes open. Keep watching, because whatever you see can inspire you.
I hope that works for us. Like I say, it has happened a couple times. We've had guests want to know how to get started in vlogging and all that. It's a beautiful thing. Keep it like they say, keep your eyes open. Make sure you're watching us each week, because we'll be back in the sports bar next week. Same bad time, same bad channel, with the final week of the NFL season as we push to the playoffs. Enjoy New Year's Evil. Thank you to everybody who came in. I love you all. See you next week. For the Stat Girl, Stat Boy, out.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports